we are talking about how to shop thrift stores and the huge mistakes that people make. We are thrift store pros.
Oh, yeah.
I am confident in saying that.
I was going to say, I don't say that about a whole lot of stuff, but that I can say.
What we learned doing this is that all you have to do is just say you're a pro and you're a pro. So, yeah, so I have been to the thrift store many times during our kitchen remodel. And as we were doing this, we were like, okay, what are some of the things that people do and they don't realize when they're shopping at thrift stores? So the number one thing is know your prices.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Know your prices.
That's
I don't know how many times we go to the thrift store and we see something from the Dollar Tree for $3 or $4 or $5 for something from the Dollar Tree.
And nowadays we have phones. So if you're unsure, when you get ready to pick something up, especially if it's more than $1, look on your phone. You can scan the item into Walmart or someplace like that and usually find it and get a price.
Yeah. So number one, know your prices. Even know your prices for new items. So like I don't know, 2 or 3 Taiwan Tuesdays back, we were looking at a recliner at a thrift store. And Mom was like, $50, that's too much. Well, but recliners are $500. So you have to know, is a recliner $200? Then $50 is too much. If a recliner is $500, $50 isn't too much. Now, that one was dirty, which is why it was too much for that price. But you need to know what your prices are. If that was a Lazy Boy recliner, I would have snapped it up just like that, dirty or not, because I would have known those are $1,000. So that's worth buying.
And not only your price is brand new, but I know that the garage sales here in Wyoming, we have found chairs that have been in great condition for $35, you know.
Yeah, and like here in Wyoming, we know garage sales are always cheaper than the thrift stores.
Yeah, so you have to really just know everything from the new prices to what's happening in your area. And different areas will be different, of course.
Yep, so that's number one. The next one is kind of controversial. Ooh. I'm getting controversial.
Right out the gate, you're controversial.
I'm right off the gate. Okay, if you guys hear my phone dinging, I'm really sorry. Mike is in the house. He just had knee surgery, so he's texting me on my phone. So just so you guys know, don't leave something behind if you should get it. Now, what in the world do I mean? I mean, just buy it if you think you might need it. So here's what I mean. If there is something that you think you might need or use, and it's a good deal, just buy it. Now, 99% of the time, I can turn around, and if I don't use it, like I got a coffee table in 2 Tightwad Tuesdays ago for Mike's brilliant idea, got it home, got it arranged with Mike's brilliant idea. I almost blew it. And it's getting so close. We're going to reveal it in like 2 weeks. We're getting so close. And it didn't work. I knew it was going to work at the thrift store. I just knew it was going to work at the thrift store. But I paid $15 for the thing. I can turn it around and sell it for $20 or for $25 probably on Upcycle. So am I out? Well, yes, I'm out. But am I really out? No, I'm not really out. So if you find something like you think your blender might be starting to go, but you're not positive, and you find a blender for $5 instead of $50, I would buy the blender. Mm-hmm. Now, I wouldn't buy 10 blenders.
Yeah.
I would buy 1 blender. But the second thing is, if it's small, like 50 cents or $1, like I got a basket the other day for Mike's brilliant idea. And I was like, oh, I think this is going to work for that, but I'm not sure. Should I get, I'm like, Tart, it's like 50 cents. I can't remember if it's 50 cents or $1 or something. Well, okay, for something like that, for what I'm using it for, it's worth taking the risk to spend 50 cents or $1 and have it work and save myself $20 than not get it and then have to spend $20 later.
And even something like the basket is not a total loss because you could spray paint it or fix it up cute and fill it up for a gift basket for something. So especially for something like that.
Yeah. Guys, this video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbooks. 25% off right now. Our volume 1 and our volume 2, and then our gluten-free, dairy-free edition right there. If you want to start learning how to cook, which might I suggest that you start learning how to cook with the way inflation and everything is going. We give you easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen without a whole lot of ingredients. All right, so next is check and make sure everything works.
Yeah. Even that goes even to clothes. You need to be sure and check the clothes over carefully. I'm really bad about not wearing my glasses when I go to the thrift store, and I'll buy a top and get it home and look, and there's a hole that I couldn't see because I didn't have my glasses on, or a tear, pull in the sweater or something like that. So wear your glasses and look things over carefully. Make sure the zippers work, if the buttons work, appliances. If they have, usually they have an outlet where you can try appliances to see if they work.
Yes. And a lot of times, I mean, I test everything that I can. And if not, I go around looking for a plug to find one. I mean, it's a store. It's got to have a plug somewhere. So ask behind the cash register if they'll plug it in or something like that. Ellie!
Hi, my love. Hi, my love. Oh, thank you, my love.
Hello, dear daughter. We miss you so. We will see you in a couple of weeks.
Ellie sends me pictures all the time of her going to the thrift store and the cute shoes.
We're going to hit Ellie's thrift store when we're down there to see
and
if it's
stuff
worth
like that. So this is a
she
generational thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is a generational. Poor Ellie. I'm sorry. Really sorry
that we did this to you. We're so sorry.
This is why you let your parents choose who you marry. See, we are the example here. Okay. Yes, everybody's loving your scarf.
Oh, thank you, guys. Okay. One of our viewers sent that to me. I love it too.
All right. Know the return policy. Now, believe it or not, the return policy, actually some thrift stores do have a return policy. Like in Colorado, we had 7 days to take something back. So like when I would go buy clothes for Mike, he usually wasn't with me, so he couldn't try them on. So if he tried them on at home and they didn't fit, I just took them back. Now I did only get a store credit, but I shopped there so much that it didn't really matter. So, you know, and like electronics, like some stores will say, if the electronics don't work, bring them back in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Anything electrical. So yeah. So Ellie says, wait till you discover the bin store.
Oh,
I've heard things about this. I have heard things.
Oh,
I was thinking we should start our own bin store here. Instead of books, we should turn the studio and the shop into a bin store.
What is a bin store? Where they just sell boxes of stuff?
No, they take, and it's basically an glorified Amazon thrift store.
Oh, okay.
Or it's a thrift store where they throw them all into bins. There's two different kinds that people call them. I don't know which one Ellie's talking about. She might be talking about a Goodwill type bin store. But and we'll just throw this tip in there. Check the bin stores because what it is they'll sell like Goodwill will have great big bins and they just dump everything in there. And then you dig through and you pay like $2 a pound. And then like my sister-in-law in Kansas, she has what she calls a bin store, but I don't know if it's an actual bin store or not, if they put it in bins or not. I haven't seen pictures, but they buy Amazon pallets of returns. So all that stuff I return to Amazon just goes into a pallet. They buy it and then they take it to the store, and then like they'll have Friday, everything's $1. Well, you can get like an air fryer, recliners, bikes. You can get massage chairs. I mean, it's like big stuff. And so check them and see what good things they have, because people will just discount them or say there's no chance I'll be able to get anything or anything like that. But check them and see. It might be worth digging through stuff to see. All right. Like this one guy, I just saw a video. He had 10 shirts and it was $20 for 10 shirts. And then he went and resold them on eBay. But, you know, that's really pretty cheap. So, all right. Don't go shopping on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, no. Yeah. Don't.
Why not, Mother?
Well, because everything's totally picked over and everybody goes on Saturday afternoon. So I very rarely went on Saturday afternoon. Sometimes I would get up early Saturday morning and be one of the first ones in line.
Yeah.
To go. But yeah, you got to think, when are the crowds going to be there and have it all picked over? You know, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ellie's boyfriend says he found a $100 Jetboil camping stove for a few bucks at the bin store. He highly recommends. Yeah. I mean, that's really, it's really a good way to do it. But back to what Mom is saying about going on it Saturday afternoon. For those types of things, you got to be there in the morning.
Yeah.
You got to be aggressive. You can't just...
For the bin store stuff, I would imagine it'd be like Black Friday almost.
And it's kind of the same with the thrift stores. You got to be aggressive. If you want to get the good stuff and so it's not picked all over.
Well, and then I learned too that there's certain days where they put more things out.
Yes. Because their trucks come or whatever.
Yeah. And so learn those days. And in the morning, they usually have more things out first thing in the morning. So
Nancy says she's been to a bin store one time. She bought LED light bulbs for $2 a package that Home Depot sells for $10.
Wow. Well, that would be fun.
And what they do is they lower their prices. So like, according to my sister-in-law, like they start out like everything's $10 on Monday when the truck comes. And then on Tuesday, it's $8. I think if I'm understanding right. She'll probably correct me later, but I think if I understand right, like when the truck comes, it's $10 on Monday. And then Tuesday, it's like $8. And then Wednesday, it's like $5. And Thursday, $4. And then like Friday, it's $2. And Saturday, it's $1. And so then they get everything cleared out.
Oh, to start over again on Monday.
Monday, which is actually pretty brilliant.
Yeah, that's good strategy on their part.
So, because I remember when our Restore went out of business, well, didn't go out of business. They moved buildings in, when was it, August? Oh, wow. Has it been that long already? Yeah. Last August, I think they had everything like one day it was everything was 25% off. Then everything was 50% off. Then everything was 75% off. Then everything was 90% off. And they were cleared out of everything that they had. And so people like those deals. They like thinking they're getting a good deal, even if they're not. So next one is don't own a pickup.
No, I disagree on that because I don't own a pickup and it's made no difference. It makes no difference because then I call somebody that does own a pickup.
Okay, so that one's a little bit of a joke, but seriously, you got to be careful.
The temptation is greater, I know.
Now,
I've learned how to tie things on top of a car, and out of the trunk and everything else.
Yeah, I had actually thought about tying something on top of the car in South Dakota. There was that white bench that I showed in that video. It was pretty cool. I was like, I think I could maybe tie that on top of the car. So
my husband, show you, I've learned from an expert, and my folks are this way too. My husband and I went to an antique shop one time and they had a pump organ. That was the antique organs that they do. And they stand pretty, well, they're way bigger than the stove. They're bigger than the stove. And we managed to get it in the trunk of the car to haul it quite a ways home. So yeah, not owning a pickup, that one was a joke. That's for sure. So,
let's see. How about a van? No, a van doesn't count. Actually,
vans are good because if it's raining and snowing, you've got a better chance of keeping it covered.
I will say we are looking for a car, and one of the requirements is that we can haul.
I know that's my requirement always.
So I'm heading towards the Toyota Highlander variety because.
Well, even the little tiny car I had now, one of the reasons I got it was you can knock the back seat down and slide things through the trunk into the back seat. So,
all right, post your questions, guys. We got a couple more tips, but post your questions and Mike will send them to me. And by the way, I make no if I have to ban Mike, I will ban Mike. He is on pain medication, so I do not trust him at all.
I don't either.
So anything he
he's
says,
on a roll with his pain medication.
Anything he says cannot be held against him.
We cannot control him.
Not trying on clothes, even if a thrift store doesn't have dressing rooms. Mm-hmm. And you're like, Tara, what? Listen, even if a thrift store doesn't have or garage sales, you can try clothes on. If you're a woman and you're needing pants, just wear a skirt and put them on underneath your skirt and see if they fit. I'm hoping you're all, I know that 85% of you are women that are watching. So the other, the other thing is to wear like a tank top type shirt if you're needing shirts.
Thin short sleeve t-shirt or tank top.
You're not going to wear a sweater to garage. Well, you're not going to wear a sweater anyway to garage sales, but don't wear something thick, bulky. Wear something like a tank top with a shirt over the top that's button up that you could take that off and put it over you. Have someone with you so they can hold your shirt down after you go to take it off and all that stuff.
Found that.
But I have done it by myself. I have done it by myself.
And another thing, if you just like you're a guy and you really can't take your pants off, and do that, measure a pair of pants.
Do not wear a skirt to try on the pants.
No, please don't.
I am sorry. Goodness. I don't care what the baloney that's going on now.
Don't wear a skirt.
Do not wear a skirt to play on.
And you don't have to. Take one of the pairs of pants that fit you perfect, you already have, and take exact measurements of the inseam, around the waistband, and all that. Make sure you get the perfect measurements, and then you take a tape measure with you and you can measure the pants. That's if you just can't try something on. So is Mike being smart?
That's actually Sumner. I've got all these texts going on during the live show so I could talk to Mike. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't even remember where we were. Oh yes, trying on clothes. So it can be done. Also, here in Wyoming, people are really nice. And I've had some people say, oh, you want to just go try that on in my bathroom?
Yeah.
And they have.
It depends on where you live, where they'll let you do that.
I probably wouldn't do that in LA, but it depends on where you are too.
This is kind of a more practical, is like Tara said, wear a button down shirt, because by the time you start pulling, if you have a tight tank turtleneck on and you're pulling it off over your hair, over your glasses, earrings, stuff like that, it's easier to try things quickly on if you just got a button-up shirt and that type of thing.
Because Donna says their Goodwill is taking out the dressing rooms. And I understand why. First of all, people steal a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they do stuff.
Although if they're trying to get rid of the stuff anyway. But secondly, it's a pain for them to be putting all those clothes back all the time. I totally get why they don't.
Yeah.
But
it does make it hard then to buy things.
Look for bugs. Now,
can you tell them the cockroach joke you just read? Oh, never mind.
Speaking
of bugs,
I don't know where it went, but it said something like, my husband found a cockroach in the kitchen, so he sprayed and cleaned everything. I'm going to be hiding one in the bathroom next time.
I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, and Sumner's even watching.
Oh, no.
He says, your editor is sorry for his transgressions. Oh, my goodness. He made a mistake on the invoice and he double charged me. I'm like, that's it. You're fired. So we've been going back and forth. So anyway, it's funny. You're forgiven, Summer. Don't worry. All right. Look for bugs. Now, every time I talk about buying furniture or used things at the thrift store, this is the number one question that comes up. Aren't you worried about bed bugs? Now, knock on wood, I have never, ever, ever had a bug problem with anything I've bought at garage sales, thrift stores, or dumpsters. But I do know that they could be there. But what I do is I pull up the cushions, I look and see if there's any bug droppings, I lift up the couch, look underneath. If it's torn underneath, I pull the that stuff that's on the bottom, whatever that stuff is that catches all your coins and everything. I look in there and see if there's bug droppings. I smell it. If it stinks, I try not to buy it. I have been desperate before and gotten free stuff that really stunk, but we had literally no money. So I have never had a bug problem. And all you can do is, if you're worried about it, put a tarp over your couch. Let's say you get a couch, put a tarp over it, and just set off a bug bomb, or 2 or 3 if you want, over a week or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd set one off, wait like a week for the eggs to hatch or whatever, and stick another one in there. But although that should cover eggs anyway. But one thing too, now this isn't what doesn't work for garage sales, but at thrift stores, our thrift store had a special dryer things kind of machine in the back. And they would toss all the clothes and stuff like that, and it would sanitize them. They had the heat so high.
We have one here that does that.
Yeah, and the heat's so high, it kills, because I've never had bugs from any place myself either. And I've lived in Kansas, where if you're going to get bugs, Texas and Kansas and down there, you would. And so a lot of times in the thrift stores, they've got, like the one we went to on Saturday that you guys will see, it's neat and tidy, and clean. The ladies that put the stuff out for those types of things, or the people that work there, they kind of keep their eye out, because they don't want a bad reputation. They don't want those bugs getting in their stuff in the store. So they're pretty much, most places are pretty careful, especially if they're well run, and a pretty good place. Then they're kind of careful, because they don't want the bad reputation of having bugs. So
yeah. All right, guys, this video is brought to you by 99 Cookbooks, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. Guys, they're 25% off right now. Learn how to cook, and you will save a ton of money. And we give you all of the basic recipes, and they are really good. I'm just saying, they're really good. Everybody will tell you they're really good.
Well, and two, okay, I shouldn't say that. We always forget, I try to say when I'm here anyway, they're good not only for learning to cook, but things are getting short in some places in the grocery store. And we have how to make a lot of stuff from scratch, and I've said this a few times before, but every once in a while I want to remind you guys that they are good if you're starting to not find things. How to even make mustard, ketchup, stuff like that.
All right. And our next tip, guys, put your questions in the comment section, and we will get to them and your comments. Not making offers. Now, we were just talking about this today, and I went to the thrift store today, and a guy said, "This sink is cracked. Will you take less on it?" And the lady was like, "Sure." Now, some thrift stores will take offers and some won't. We noticed that the ones that are like Goodwill, Salvation Army. Well, my Salvation Army takes.
Did they?
Yeah. I won all those flowers. I made an offer for them. So here's the thing. The worst they will tell you is no.
Yeah.
That's the worst they will tell you. Well, big whoop to ding.
Don't be afraid to ask. Fear is a big factor in a lot of this stuff, if you think about it, and just don't be afraid about that.
So they might make an offer. Maybe not, maybe show, but it helps. Like the other day, I made an offer. I got a couple of things, and I was like, "Listen, I'm spending a lot of money here lately, and I'd like to have this, but this is way more than I want to spend. Can I get a better deal on this?" And they were like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." Or what's another one? There was something else I got at the thrift store. I was trying to remember what it was. It was something was broken. But it was like a blender or something. I can't remember for sure, but I needed like one part off of it. And I said, "This is broken, but I only need this part. Can I get it for less?" And they were like, "Oh, yeah, sure." So just ask, and they might go ahead and give you a better deal. Yeah. So those are our tips for saving at the thrift stores. We are going to get your questions now. Sumner, are you making an announcement live on my show?
What did he say?
I don't know if I should say it live, because people watch. So I'm just going to see if he's making an announcement or not, according to his comment. All right, Denise. Oh, did you have?
Well, I was just going to say one thing too. We've been talking about buying things at a thrift store and about mistakes you can make at a thrift store. But you know what? You really don't make a mistake at a thrift store. It's almost impossible. Yeah. And let me give you an example of why that's true. If you go and buy, say, 5 blouses for $2 at a thrift store, and you get them home and you find that one of them doesn't work, something's wrong with it. So you pay $10 for those 5 blouses, and now you've got 4 tops for $10. Well, if you bought those brand new, because I usually buy name brand, more expensive ones, more expensive brands, and I only pay $2 for them. But if you had bought those same ones at the regular store, that would have been, probably say they're $20 each, that would have been $100 worth of tops, blouses that you bought. Okay, let's think about that. You lose one blouse over here, you still pay $10 for 4 tops compared to $100 for 5 tops brand new. I mean,
a lot more than that now, but
yeah, well, especially at a good store. I'm just keeping it down low. But if you calculate that out and think, for the same equal type, for the $100 you spent over here, you could have got 50 tops at a thrift store compared to the 5 if you bought them brand new. So think about that. It's almost impossible to make a mistake, because even if you'd lost 3 of the tops, you still wouldn't be, that hard off. So I just wanted to point that out to people that are still kind of leery about it.
Yeah, everybody says, I don't want to lose a whole lot of money on stuff I don't need or won't fit or whatever. Can't.
That's why, I bought this for $10 and it's not working for me. Well, the chances are pretty good if you go to the thrift store all the time. That's just a drop in the bucket. You've saved so much more by going.
Denise says, I think that Salvation Army stores are different from more for-profit thrift stores such as Goodwill. Some thrift stores are created to give special needs adults an honest job. Yeah, I mean, that's the way the ARC was in Colorado. It was to help people get jobs. But I will say Goodwill is the last thrift store I will shop at. We have a Salvation Army, but it's the second last thrift store I'll shop at. I mean, I go to our Salvation Army, but not near as often as I go to the other ones that are here. Yeah. And I'll be honest, the same with the Restore. Up until this town, Colorado had a decent Restore in Berthoud, but all the other Restores in the towns that I'd been in.
Yeah, the ones in Wichita.
They weren't good at all. I've been to several different ones. I went to one in Wisconsin, and where there was another one on Ellie and I. We went to 2 or 3 on my daughter and I's trip. They're not that great. The one in Cheyenne I went to, I was not impressed with the one in Cheyenne.
This one here is really, really good.
So here's the thing. They are hit or miss. We're very fortunate here in Sheridan to have a really good one. And in Colorado, we had a really good one. But in Kansas, it was awful. So it just is hit or miss on some of those. Maybe 90% of the Goodwill stink, but you might have a Goodwill that is good. So just check and see, but don't think, I don't see what Tara's talking about. Well, it just depends on your area. So Cat Lover says, if you don't have the cookbook yet, guys, get one. They're awesome. You, Cat Lover. One day my husband said, I want brownies. I pulled out my Diet Volume 1 and there was a recipe. Yes.
Yep.
I just made some for Easter and they were all gone. I made the regular and the gluten-free, and they didn't even know they were gluten-free. So Marilyn Monroe, my brother happened upon a nice couch in a thrift store. He hadn't planned on going in there, so wasn't prepared with measurements. They told him he could return if it didn't fit his space. Wow.
That's good. Yeah.
Some thrift stores will deliver also for furniture and stuff like that. If they do pick up, sometimes they will deliver. Now, they might charge you a fee like $20 or $50 or something. I don't know what it would be, but sometimes they will. And a lot of times they may not take it into your house. Like they may deliver it to your driveway, but they won't take it into your house or something like that. But, you never know. So Roseanne, help. Will my eggs be okay? Store-bought. I've kept them in the garage. It's been cold enough, but today I came home and it's not as cold in there. Yes, they're fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. They can sit at room temperature for a couple of days and they're fine. It's no biggie. Sarah, quinoa does last forever. I don't know. I had some and it went rancid on me so I don't know that quinoa does last forever. It's like a grain. It's a healthy grain because it has more protein. It looks like a little worm, so I have a hard time eating it. Cat Lover, want to add gravy to meal? It's in the book. Thank you, Cat Lover. She doesn't buy packets anymore. Yeah, gravy is so sinking simple, guys.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it adds so much flavor to the dishes and stuff.
Yeah. Amy says Goodwill bin stores are items that haven't sold at retail stores. She got all her grandson's toys there. So it sounds like the Goodwill bin stores are where they take all the leftovers and then just dump them in bins and sell them for super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, because Goodwill has ridiculous prices on their clothes. I mean, I'm like,
yeah,
$15 for some stuff. It's like, that's ridiculous.
I haven't been to Goodwill for years and years because the last time it was bad, and I can't even imagine what it would be now.
Drive me nuts. Marilyn Morrow says my cousin works at the VFW thrift store. That's the one we had in Kansas that Mom liked. When favorite. Things have been there a certain time, they sell for $1.98. Yep. Mm-hmm. She got her hutch for $1.98. Wow, yeah. That's a good deal. Our restore kind of does that. So like every 2 weeks they go down. So like it's a full price and then it marks down to 25 and then 50 and then 75%. I don't know what they do if they don't sell it.
Yeah, I loved mine because they would mark it down. You know, every week they'd mark them down.
Michael says, I got North Face jackets at the bins for $3. Yes. Wow. Tracy says she got a 4-pack of Ziploc bags, $8, $140 in each box.
Ooh.
That's a good deal. Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. What happened to Mike? So Mike had knee surgery yesterday. They removed his meniscus. And so he is laid up with that in the house. He's actually doing really well. He didn't even use crutches walking out of the doctor's office. He probably needs them today now that the anesthesia's wore off. But he is actually doing really well. He's even moving around. And so hopefully, the doctor did tell the wife, he doesn't need to be laying around all the time.
I told the wife, huh?
I said, you don't tell the wife that. The wife will be like, get in here and let's finish up your brilliant idea. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Oh, my goodness. Sandy. Mike, send me questions. Sandy, I like St. Vincent de Paul. Yes, some of those are good also. They are another chain.
And some of them are good in different areas. And, you know, so you just need to check them all out and see.
Yeah. I would say of all the thrift stores we've been through all our lives, the ones here at the churches, there's 3 church thrift stores here. They have the cheapest prices.
Yeah.
That of any thrift stores that we've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, look and see if you have churches that have thrift stores. And what I would do is just Google thrift store near me, because you'll be surprised what'll come up. You get used to going to the same thrift stores all the time. And you don't even think to Google to see if there's anything new out there. Yeah, and there might be something new.
That's true.
Like Tara's thrift store.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God.
I'm just thinking this is a good idea.
You might tell people that have just come on that Tara's not being rude and looking at her phone because she's ignoring you guys. But Mike's in the house and he's letting her know when the questions have come and stuff like that. So on her phone. So that's what she's doing.
Tracy, rent a U-Haul to go to the bin store. It's that bad, huh? My sister-in-law keeps telling me I need to come back to Kansas to go see their Amazon, whatever, bin store. Single Guy Simple Life says, check out Fill-A-Bag sales. Yeah.
Yeah, Fill-A-Bags are good ones.
Una says, when I go thrift shopping, I struggle thinking I'm missing a bargain, but then I find it hard to stick to a budget. Always impressed with your thrifting videos as you are so restrained. That's it. I have never had a budget because I know I keep saying this. I just don't buy things I don't need.
Yeah.
But I made myself a liar.
Yeah, you've done several in the past couple of weeks. Oh my goodness.
Because wait till you see our thrift store haul from last Saturday. That was something. And so, but
that was going to be one of my other tips that I forgot about. So I'm glad you made this comment, because be careful. Even though you can get things a lot less and it's tempting because you say, oh, what a good deal. I'll just pick this up in case, or, you know, I'll just pick it up, because everything looks, especially when you first start going thrifting, you'll just get really excited. If you don't have the money right now and you're not out of debt, you have to control yourself at the thrift store, just like you do any other store, and start out with not buying anything except what you absolutely need, you know. And do it that way, and just don't have necessarily a budget, but just make up in your mind, I will not buy anything that I don't need.
Here's the thing. Right now, we're not like poor. It's not like I guess when we were first starting out and Mike was making $6 an hour and we needed something, then I would only buy what I absolutely needed then. Well, now if I go and spend $20 at a thrift store, first of all, I can spend $20 at a thrift store, make a video out of it, and make $500 on a video talking about it. That's a really good investment for my money. But now I can buy stuff that I want because we have the money.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm just spending thousands and thousands of dollars. I maybe spend $10 to $20 a week. So $100 a month, maybe that much. And also we just moved, and I've been doing a kitchen remodel. Well, now that we're getting close to being done with the kitchen remodel, I haven't been to the thrift stores nearly as much as I was going when I was looking for stuff that I needed. So,
and I went, you didn't know I went by myself, did you?
To where?
To the thrift store.
What thrift store did you go to by yourself, Mother?
All by myself. But I went the other day, and I'm kind of like Tara. I'm at a place now where I'm not in debt, and I have, not plenty of money, but I'm comfortable. And so I can splurge. Well, I haven't been out of the house hardly at all. I mean, I've gone thrifting with Tara, but I haven't really, I don't do good when I shop with well, I do better when I shop with other people because I very rarely buy a whole lot. I don't buy too much. But I went the other day and I went through the sewing stuff like crazy. I mean, every inch of the sewing.
When did you go to?
The Christian.
Oh.
And I took every basket off the shelf and I dug through it and looked through everything. I took my time. But even then, I only spent $3. But no, I didn't even spend that. I spent $2 because my change was $3. But anyway, I went and I looked through everything. Well, I bought some vinyl, clear vinyl that I can use in my sewing projects. I bought some needles, I got to tell you guys this.
Did you buy anything for my covered wagon?
I already have stuff for your covered wagon. But I went and bought some needles. Guys, if you sew, look at the thrift store for antique needles, for packages of antique needles from the
vintage,
30s. Vintage needles from the 40s. They are the best needles in the whole world. They made them unbelievable back then. They don't break as easy. They don't get dull. I love the things. Well, I found a package of those for $1. They're cheaper than needles nowadays, and so I didn't need them. What I'm saying is I didn't need this stuff, but I went ahead. I will use the needles, I will use them eventually. So I went ahead and bought them for me. But even at that, I only spent the $2. So, and I have the money now to be able to do that once in a while, but just learn to control yourself. You're going to have to learn to control is what I'm saying.
Some of this stuff,
I could have bought more, but I didn't.
Yeah. And some of this stuff, it's okay, I'm already looking at things we got a pickup load going to Mom's house. So we're going to get that stuff out. And then I got another table over here. And I'm like, okay, if I don't find a place for that table, then I'm going to go ahead and sell it. I thought it was going to work at one place and it's not. But since we moved and we're finishing our basement and we're doing our remodel and stuff, I have bought things that I think will work. But if they don't work, I just turn around and sell them or take them back to the thrift store. So it's not like I have probably spent on all of the furniture in my entire house for my entire married life, with the exception of Mike and I's mattress, less on all of my furniture than a normal person spends on just one couch every 5 or 10 years. Seriously, because I buy stuff, it doesn't work, I resell it 90% of the time. I resell it for more than I bought it.
Money on it, yeah.
Because I make sure I get a really good deal, so that if it doesn't work, I can resell it and actually make it worth my time and gas of hauling let's say a table or whatever, hauling the gas in the truck to go pick it up and all of that stuff. So anyway, I wouldn't beat yourself up if you buy something and it doesn't work. Just know next time, this is what we're going to do. So, Amazing Grace Rant says, yes, I was going to say, Tara, some men already may be wearing a skirt. Oh, don't. You better be glad Tara's. I thought that would be a really good YouTube channel. Tara reviewing these things.
Oh, can you imagine Tara reviewing these things? Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine Tara reviewing a video of a man who is modeling a sports bra when he has no boobs?
I'm sorry. Oh.
Can you imagine somebody telling Tara to her face she's a birthing person?
Oh.
Really? I got news for you. Yeah. All right, Mississippi.
You better move on real fast.
Well, we're not done yet, unless it's a kilt, because then it's culturally appropriate. If you're in Scotland or at the Scottish festival,
then you can wear a kilt.
or you actually have a Scottish accent, I will give it to you. But if you don't have a Scottish accent, you better not even be wearing.
Or your ancestry papers pinned to
Yeah,
the front of
right.
you.
Say your papers. Goodness. Okay. Donna says, they're good ones taking out the dressing room. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Amazing Grace says they took out the bathrooms at Goodwill because people were doing their business on the bathroom floor and hiding drugs up in the ceiling.
They did that at mine too. My thrift store was like the slum area of Wichita where I had to go. And it was a really nice store, but people would go in there and do stuff so they wouldn't let you use the bathroom.
Roxanne, brownish dotted stains on wood or furniture. Yeah, you don't want to be seeing any pee stains anywhere either. That's mouse pee usually if they're small. If they're big, then run. But Bounty and the Bad Runs, our little town has one thrift store. Know for a fact every item clothing is washed. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Catholic store Hill does.
Yeah.
Roxanne says bugs hiding holes and cracks in the wood mostly. Yes, but you usually find evidence. I mean, you find poop or sheddings of, their exoskeleton.
I had an exterminator. That was one of the first things he told me. He said and he showed me what to look for. So,
Amazing Grace says Goodwill sprays their clothing with chemical that some people are allergic to. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Kimberly, I just buy what I like as far as clothes. I don't even try it on. If I get home and it doesn't fit right away, I've only spent a couple of bucks. I never put on anything until it's been washed and dry. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. You have to look over the long term of things that you've bought that have been failures versus things that haven't been failures, and so you're 90% of the time you're going to always have a better deal than that 10% that you don't get a good deal on.
Well, it's like buying stocks, you spend a little bit and buy some stocks. You have to wait. And then eventually you're supposed to get more.
Yeah, Una says, if I'm too shy to ask for a discount, I'll say I'm on a budget, so I need to check what I've spent. A lot of time they will offer a better price. Yeah. Now, that's the only thing I don't like about here. They do not price anything at the garage sales. It drives me nuts. I know,
it is.
And their thrift stores, a lot of them don't too. And so I'm just like, people, they're like, well, just make me an offer.
Yeah, when they say that.
And so here's what I say. When they say make me an offer, I say, let me tell you, I'm a tightwad. So I'm going to offer you $2 for it. But I'll just let you know I'm a tightwad. It's not very valuable to me. And 90% of the time they'll say, okay.
Yeah, I know they do. I've said that before.
I'm like, yeah. Now, occasionally I've had their eyes bug out of their eye sockets and say, whoa, that's worth $40. I'm like, I told you I'm a tightwad. And now it's getting to the point where we're kind of getting known around town. So I kind of feel bad. If you see me at your garage sale this summer, I'm going to ask you anyway. But it's getting a little harder since we've been being noticed a little bit more.
It's hard when you go to somebody's garage sale that and they don't have a price on it because it's like, ooh,
I don't know. Yeah, that's bad. Retro Shopper says it all comes out in the wash. Yeah. Yeah. Consider making your money it's the money to donation. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could consider that, but I like to know where my money is being donated to, so I'm really specific in my donations. But I totally get what you're saying on that. Oh, and by the way, Mom got a package this week.
Oh, Christine, I don't know if you're on there tonight. Thank you so much. I got a package from Christine. It was little short boots. They are so cool. They have just a little bit of a spike, not much. They're
pretty nifty.
They are unbelievable. There's everything about these boots are so perfect, and they're to walk on ice. Oh my goodness! If I haven't needed them this past week, they're just adorable. They're really short, which I love. And I got to tell a story. It's always, you guys have heard me say this before. It always amazes me how God just provide stuff for you. When I got here, after we first moved here, I had a little pair of short boots, like little type winter boots that I wore all the time. And I wore them out, literally was wearing them out. The zippers had broke on them and that type of thing. And I liked wearing them because they were short and comfortable. And I could walk on the snow because the tread was really, kind of rough that would help in the ice. And I literally have just worn them out. And I've been trying, haven't I? I've looked and looked. I even ordered first pair of new shoes I bought in like 30, 40 years. I ordered them. And the fit wasn't right. And so I've had the worst. So I was afraid to order anymore. And I've had the worst time finding boots. And here Christine sent me this pair of little short boots, exactly what I was looking for. I couldn't believe it.
Well, there you go.
Right size, everything.
And they're cute.
I mean, talk about God answering your prayer and sending something to you that you need. It just amazes me continually.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you that's a long thank you, I know, but you guys are so sweet, and it's amazing how, that works out.
Debbie says, I know this is off topic, but I'm curious, did we ever find the name of the tea last week? Yes, it was Fallon's. It's a green, it's Fallon's tea from Ireland. This is what it looks like, but you can't get it here, really. Here it is on Amazon. So that's it right there. But it was like $1 for 160 bags in Ireland. I mean, it was super cheap. And when I went and looked, looks like somebody bought the one that was on Amazon. But when I went and looked on Amazon last week, they were like $46 for tea. It's like, okay, it was good, but it wasn't that good. So anyway, I might just have to pack my bags and go to Ireland and just bring me home.
Cheaper to fly over and get you some.
Holy moly, I was shocked. Retro shopper, it all comes out in the wash. Yeah. Oh yeah, we said that one. Yep. Paula, look for clothing that is like new. Yeah, I figure if it's made it to the thrift store in good condition, I'll have several uses out of it.
I usually don't buy anything unless it does look almost brand new.
Kimberly, I always buy my grandkids' clothes at the thrift stores. I look for stuff that has already had tags or looks brand new. Yep. Yeah. Kids just grow through stuff so quick. Jack needs new pants, maybe getting close to new shirts already, but I'm like, okay, we got to at least make it through the school year because I ain't buying new school clothes until then, and he can start wearing shorts.
And a lot of adults have tags on their clothes still because they buy it and get it home and they don't like the color, they don't like this or that, and so they don't ever wear it and they send it.
Lisa says she always buys her shirts and jeans at the thrift stores and grocery stores. Yep. Roxanne, go to thrift stores in areas of rich people. Yes, we did that in Colorado.
It's like a toss-up in those areas.
Yeah.
And I like going there. I love going to there. I aim for those all the time. But every once in a while, it's like part of them
they either really, really devalue their stuff or really, really value their stuff.
I spent this much for it, so I want this much for it. But then there's the other ones that have it really, really low, and it's really nice stuff. So
yeah, we notice that all the time. And you'll notice as soon as you walk in,
as soon as you walk up to that first table, you might as well just go, to another one. So
yeah, Debbie says I'm not a fan of Goodwill. Most of the prices are comparable to Walmart.
Yeah, I don't like Goodwill.
Amy says 75% of stuff I buy on sale. Yeah, I do too. I would say the only thing that I don't buy on sale would be my food now because we only have 2 stores. to grocery
yeah,
stores.
yeah.
So I buy it at Walmart, not on sale. But Walmart is my cheap price here. So it is on sale. It just kind of, you know, it's hard to explain that.
And
but
I think
yeah,
Walmart is cheaper here because we don't have many places.
probably.
You know,
In
probably.
Colorado, I never bought food at Walmart. I always buy it at Kroger because it was always cheaper.
I never did either in Wichita.
Prairie Patriot says when shopping for clothes at thrift stores, it's helpful to know what looks good on your body. Yes, that helps a lot. Just watch some videos on YouTube, guys. You do not have to be frumpy looking, but
well, you I heard it too. We're hearing strange things.
Okay. Hold on.
Hold that thought. We'll finish talking about this in just a second. Wait till she should.
Maybe you should go check and make sure that's not a person. That is. Oh, is it a car? I think it's a car.
No, nothing's out there.
Okay, that was really weird. I don't know if it was. But here. Okay, guys, this is in my front yard. And listen, it's going to be.
Well, should I tell him what happened to me before you showed
Why?
Said that to
me?
Well, it was like Easter night, Sunday night. I was in the living room and I heard this really weird sound. Yeah. And I couldn't explain what the sound was. And I sat there and I thought, do I go in there and check? I don't get scared. I've lived by myself for 30 years, so I don't scare too easily. But I heard this weird noise I've never heard in my whole life. It was the strangest thing. And I thought, you know, I'm so tired. I don't feel good. I'll just wait till they come into the living room and I'll deal with whatever the noise was or whoever was making the noise, and I'll deal with it then. I just was too tired. It was the weirdest noise. And I was going to call Tara and Mike, but I thought I couldn't even explain what this noise was. Well, then I just let it go. The next night, not at the same time or anything, I heard this noise again. And it's a weird, strange noise. And then Tara calls today and she sent me this video.
So listen to this video, guys. Let's see if I can get my phone.
This is what I heard in.
Okay, this is out in my yard.
What in the world is this really weird noise?
It's gravel in my yard.
I was going to say, I can guess. That's the same noise I heard.
Hold on, it's almost done.
It stopped. It stopped.
And look, it's just a pile of water.
Okay. That was really weird. Oh
I thought maybe I had struck gold. Or, you know, black gold, like the Beverly Hillbillies. I thought it was going to be the next Tara Hillbilly here, the Sheridan Hillbilly. What is it? And Mom and I just went out again, and it's still doing
making the noise.
It's the weirdest thing.
Dave said it's some kind of creature digging its way out of the ground.
Edith says it sounds like giant ants from the movie. It does.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. From. That's why when I heard it, I sat there in the living room and I thought, I'm just going to wait.
Oh, I hope it's not a gas leak. Oh, surely not.
I wouldn't think so.
Oh, dear. Let's see.
Would you have a guess?
Oh, my. Maybe we should dig a little bit and see. I don't know if we can. It's been 70s, but I don't know.
The ground's probably too frozen still.
I mean, it's been 70s the last 2 days, so it has something to do with the melting.
Yeah, things have been melting like you can't even imagine. I've never seen melting like this before.
Roxanne says, no, don't dig. Have the gas company come out. Well, I don't know. Now she's got me concerned. Let's see. Where does our gas line? I don't even know where our gas line comes in at. Oh, dear.
But I heard it at my house, too. So that's
Bounty why I was says if it was gas, you'd smell it. Okay, I don't smell anything.
Yeah,
I don't smell anything.
That's it.
It is bubbles. Yeah, there are bubbles coming up.
Unless there's a pipe that's broken. A water pipe or something.
Mike says we would smell it if it was the gas. Okay, so it's not gas. So it's got something to do with the thaw and the water running with the thaw. But why is it only making that noise in that one little tiny spot of my...
But see, I heard it only in one spot too.
And it's still there. Mom and I showed it to Mom as we were walking over to do the show. It's still going on. Yes, we do have underground sprinklers. I don't know. It's really freaky. I'm just saying. Okay, so back to questions.
What were we talking?
Sorry.
Just answering. What was
but it was just weird. So Diana says 8 just bought the most beautiful crystal plate for $2.99. Oh, that's great. Yeah, she probably said $300. Wow.
Wow.
Tanya, I like the closest the resale depot. They donate all their profits to missions. Yep. Lots of places do that. Krista, is anybody else shocked at the price of thrift stores in their area? Yes. Now, in Sheridan, our prices are pretty reasonable. But in other cities, I've noticed their prices are going up. So, Jennifer, hello. She was late because she was watching Penny Pinch and Molly. Amazing Grace says, I'm so excited. Yard sale season is upon us. Yes, like soon. Oh my goodness. Mom and I went to one this weekend. Wait till you, again? To the fairgrounds for the sale that we went to this weekend. Oh yeah. Oh, you guys are gonna see
the video.
It's coming out on next Tuesdays. Although it was so exciting, I thought about putting it out Friday. It was so exciting.
It was the most interesting that I've been to in a while. They had the most interesting things. Maybe I should say, I've never been to a place that I just never seen anything like it.
Between Toilet Man, my covered wagon, my igloo cooler, my pictures.
Your pictures. That was the end. The perfect
that was
ending
missing
of the whole
at
thing.
the thrift store. And guess what's at this garage sale? You're not gonna believe what happened.
Wait till you hear the
pictures.
story with the pictures.
You're not gonna believe what happened with the pictures.
That was good.
I'm still getting chills. I was just like, seriously.
Well, Toilet Man, what you do with Toilet Man's pretty funny too. So wait till you see Toilet Man and the whole ending with that.
So
that video is going to be a good one, guys.
It was something. And then this weekend we're having it's called Behind the Picket Fence or something. I don't know. See, we're so new here. We don't know what these things are yet. Now, this one that we went to last weekend was the first year they've ever done it. I think the one that we're going on Saturday, we're actually selling some things there, which has nothing related to us or our business, but I'm helping out with some things there. And that might be interesting too, because I think it might be vintage things.
Oh,
so it might be like a slash garage sale kind of antique-y. Well, not really an antique thing, but I think it's like people remaking stuff. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. So it'll be interesting to see. You guys are going to go along with us on these things because we don't know. Like our first garage sale Mike and I ever went to here. They actually had it marked off and they weren't going to open until 8 and everyone was lined up. And it was like a starting pistol. They didn't do a starting pistol, but you know, the vision of a starting pistol and people chasing, that's what it was. We were totally shocked. Our first garage sale here. So you never know. So anyway, Nancy says some of their thrift stores have started increasing price. Yep. Miss Mindy says, I love my gluten-free cookbook. Yay. She loves it. She loves it. What is my current gluten-free flour? It's still the Walmart gluten-free flour is my favorite. I made gluten-free brownies for our Easter dinner that we went to this weekend because a lot of the people were gluten-free and everybody loved it. They didn't even know that it was gluten-free. Roxanne, donate to the mission stores. They help the homeless. Yes, some of them do. Bounty in the Badlands, our little thrift store supports local women's shelter. Yes, some of those do. St. Pat Chicken Stamp says St. Vincent de Paul in Idaho Falls is fantastic. Well, I just may have to make a trip to Idaho Falls. Oh, we had a viewer, Tana. Oh, do I make an 8-hour trip to the other side of Wyoming? She showed me her pantry. she's just put her house on the market. Oh my goodness. It would make a great video. I was like, oh, I thought she was in Casper. I got her mixed up with somebody else. And I thought she was in Casper. And I was like, if she's in Casper, I'm going down there. Well, she's not. She's on the other side of Wyoming, but she's 8 hours away. But she showed me her pantry. And I was like, that's your pantry? And she said, yeah. She said, that's my pantry. And she said, it's taken me 20 years to get my pantry built up. And now they're moving. I cannot imagine
I would be
moving
sick.
this. And I'm trying to find it real quick. Oh, here it is.
Oh my goodness. Wait till you guys see this. Can you show it to them?
Look at that.
Look
at that.
I have never
just
seen. Show all of them.
Never mind. So I hope she said she would do a video. So I hope she's okay with me. Let's see. Does it have any identifying? No. Okay. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there's one. That's her canned goods, and she cans.
Wait, you guys can't believe this. I hope you can see this really good.
It's kind of hard to see because it's a little dark, but I was just like,
goodness.
Oh shoot, can you see that? Let's see.
It's a little bit
Hold
hard.
on.
You need me to try to hold?
No, I'm trying to get nope, that's not gonna work. The lights are shining. Well, you can kind of see it. Is that it? And then there's this one.
Oh, I wish you guys could see this.
I was just like,
it's like pristine.
Everything's so neat.
I've never seen. It's better than any grocery store that I've seen. With them lined up all even, all the same color.
I know. I was like, I'll pay you to come.
Oh my goodness, that is.
I couldn't believe it. But now she's got her house on the market, so I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to go in like the next week if we're going to do that. But anyway, yeah. All right. Krista says, I really appreciate all your family does to teach and encourage. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Susan says, heard a video about a possible depression coming. Opinions? I'm sure it is. But who knows at this point? You know, things are so crazy. I'm just saying, get everything paid off, get your ducks in order, and hang on for the ride.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to be able to do.
We always say, if you're out of debt, you can probably survive almost anything okay. Yeah. You know, make it through okay.
Sandy says, finally got a good quote on my roof for $12,000. Yay. That is great.
That is.
Una says, I would love to hire you two to go thrift shopping to teach in person. We have that. Oh, don't buy that. That's way too expensive. Carol Ann, I have a seed saving questions. I froze hundreds of dollars of non-GMO and hybrid seeds last fall. Will they germinate? Oh, yeah. No, that's how they preserve seeds, is I keep my seeds in the freezer every year, and I have seeds that are 15 years old that I'm using. So yeah, that's the perfect way. The biggest thing is moisture. Keep them in a Ziploc bag or put them in a
I vacuum
sealer is the best way to do it. Mom found some for a penny, I think, a packet one time, and she just vacuum sealed them all up, and I'm still using those same ones. So, and those were like, man,
I got 100 packets of seeds. Of course, I divided them up, with Tara and my daughter-in-law and myself and everything. Yeah.
Patricia says, I love thrift stores for when my weight goes up and down so much I can't afford brand new clothes. Yep.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Kimberly says prices have gone up because people are buying it and then reselling it on eBay and Amazon. It's ruined the thrift store experience. So yes and no. So what thrift stores don't realize is they get that stuff for free. Mm-hmm. They need to have a mindset of, it's free. I know they have expenses and I get that, but they need to have a mindset of just keep the inventory rotating in and out. And so unless they just know something is really valuable, they should just price everything really low, and then they would make more money. I know they would, because the Wii store was totally wiped out when they lowered the prices to move.
Yeah. And then they get several things that are very, very valuable. So that'll for free. So that alone would cover their expenses, and then the other stuff is just the extra for.
Una says, I'm building a tiny house and told my local thrift stores who have been great letting me know when they have
Mhm.
bits to help. Yep.
Meet the people, talk to them, be nice to them. Don't be a grump, when you go in there and holler about this or that or the other. And they love working with you. Most people are really good about working with you on stuff.
Jess, I got my daughter's dollhouse $300 for $30. Very good.
Very good. Yeah.
In Alberta. Robin, thoughts on why thrift stores weren't around or scarce a couple of decades ago? Because people didn't buy as much crap as they do now.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. Because people, I don't care what the economy says, we are still so much better off now than we even were 40 years ago. And I'm going to start, I might do a show on this. These stupid memes that say, bring back the 29-cent hamburgers and 15-cent gas. Yes, and 20 cents minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
My first job when I was 16, I got paid 50 cents an hour.
They're like, I want 1989
at a regular
prices.
Store.
Guess what? I was making $3 an hour at my minimum wage job in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back the prices, but bring
sure.
back the minimum wage
It really
too.
concerns me that people cannot think this stuff through. And if they can't figure that out, I'm thinking, that they don't know people were making so much less. My husband and I, when we first got married, we made $268 a month. And our house payment or our rent was $100. And so, that didn't leave a whole lot of money left over. So I don't have much patience listening to these young kids that are going out and buying new cars and buying McDonald's all the time.
Tara reacts
and Starbucks.
to memes. Tara and Jill reacts to memes.
Oh my, that would be a good one. But why can't you figure out and think, well, they probably made less money. For some reason, they think everybody made the same amount of money back then. But that's why things were so cheap, because nobody would have bought anything. But another thing, when Tara was talking about not having the thrift stores, they used to have to ask people years and years ago to bring stuff if they were having a thing for.
People didn't get rid of it.
Yeah, because they didn't. You used everything up until it was just nothing left. That's why I talk about our rags and stuff. There's like 3 levels that I use for my rags. I use them like a sheet. And then if they start wearing out, I'll use a whole section of them to use in my sewing for my quilts or pillows or something like that. Then they get down to the 3rd section where they're just plain old rags. That's the way people used to use things. And I get very frustrated when people talk about recycling. I'm so sick of recycling. I do not recycle at all. And do you know, I probably have saved the environment more than 10 recyclers put together, because I use everything up till where there's nothing, and I don't buy excessive amounts of anything. So
yeah. Oh, Aline says, hi ladies, popped up for my feed from You Look Beautiful. You Look Beautiful. Love and blessings from Ireland. She's the one.
Thank you.
Fallon's tea. I was just talking about your
She knows
tea.
her.
Yes. I was just talking about how wonderful your tea is. Don't send me any because it's not worth the postage. But I'm just saying, your Fallon's tea, I absolutely loved it. Tara, have you ever thought about going into politics? Politics could not handle Tara. I'm telling you, they could not handle it. Okay. We need me to start what channel? Oh, my memes channel. Yeah. Oh, don't get me started. Oh my goodness. Have I had any major thrift store fails? Oh, I'm sure, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. I do all the time. But the thing is, my good stuff outweighs the bad stuff, so that I don't really think about it, because I just know that I save so much more.
I don't even know if I have one fail a year. And even
I have fails all the time, but I don't know if they're fails because I just turn around and resell it or remake it or
use the parts off of it or something like that. So that's why I was saying, you really can't make a mistake and have a failure going to the thrift store, because you have so many other things. Ways that you save.
Oh, Mrs. T says, see how much they throw away. Go to your local college campus. Oh my goodness. Oh. When Mike and I lived in a college town, it was nuts. The garage sale stuff we would get with these kids would have a garage sale with the stuff their parents bought. And then they would take the money. They would sell us like new blenders for $1.
Well, remember when Mike worked in Washington,
Yeah.
he would hit the dumpsters all the time and bring
Mhm.
carloads of stuff home from the college kids.
Yeah.
They just throw this stuff out because they didn't have to pay for it. Mom and dad paid
Mhm.
for it. They didn't really worry about taking care of it, although a lot of it was really nice stuff. They just threw it out at the end of the year.
About my weird sound. Maybe it's the deer are attacking.
Yeah.
Jay Moore said, that's Wanda. Jay Moore says the revenge of the deer from last year. Oh, you should have seen the turkey we had today. Oh my God.
You mean Mike came home from the hospital?
Yeah. We got
sorry, son-in-law. I love you.
Yeah, no, I know where she's going with that. Is this it here? Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Jack.
It's been kind of hard though.
Oh, here.
I had a
look at, he's huge. Can you guys see how huge he is? He is like huge.
Was that in your backyard or front yard?
Right there. See him
walking? Yeah, now I see it. Yeah. See where he's walking?
Huge.
Every time I leave Tar's house after a show, there's either deer, pheasants, rabbits, something walking in that same area. And I have to slow down and be so careful.
That turkey had to have been 2 or 3 feet tall. He was huge. I've never seen a turkey so big.
But I saw antelope going back home to my house, a couple blocks from my house, limping across the road. It broke my heart because you can't do anything to help.
Well, they're starving to death.
And Tara said that they were starving because the snow was so deep, it was covering.
They can't get food. So the deer and the antelope aren't playing. They're starving this year.
Yeah, it was really awful
really
watching it. I had to stop the car and just watch it limp across.
Yeah. Una says Fallon's is made in the same factory as Tetley tea. No way.
Really?
I have never had Tetley tea.
Oh, you haven't?
That's one tea I've never had.
It is good.
Okay, I'm going to Walmart and buying me some Tetley. I have never bought Tetley tea. I didn't know that. Wow. Wanda, people will start saying, oh no, here comes Tara and Jill's. I know. I know. Well, this last weekend, we got recognized twice. Sonia and Tommy recognized. Actually, Tommy's husband recognized.
Yeah, he recognized. It was so funny because her husband recognized. I love it that the husbands are watching sometimes. That's a crack up.
Actually. But they were all really nice.
They were awesome.
They didn't yell at me.
No. And Sonia had been with us for what we figure about 15 years.
She told us which cookbook she bought. And when she started, I was like, holy moly, she's been with us a really long time.
Yeah, some of them have been a really long time.
Yeah. I imagine the locals refer to them as movie stars walking around town recording thrift stores. I'm waiting for somebody to start yelling at me.
Yeah, they haven't though.
They haven't.
They've been really nice.
And it was so funny. This weekend was the perfect filming. I mean, we got all the Wyoming stereotypical type people.
Oh, we did.
That everybody thinks everybody in Wyoming is like. We got well, I don't know if he put it in there, but we got the guns on the hip. We got the hats. We got the hunter looking kind of guys. We got the cowgirls. And then we had all, everybody else, and we got the Amish,
Mm-hmm.
We
had a little bit of everything.
Everybody down the whole thing.
They have variety here, that's for sure.
It was absolutely funny just seeing how many different things people were wearing. Okay. Let's see. Janet, how's the kitchen remodel?
Well, the window did come in today. We have
Finally,
to think
the window
about that.
came.
Yeah.
I was about ready to blow my stack yesterday when it was supposed to come yesterday and it still hadn't come. And I said, I was nice, but I was like, I need to know where my window is.
Well, wasn't it just a week ago they lost it again?
Yeah, they lost it again
last week. It was supposed to be here in Wyoming, and she called the next day, and it was in Denver. How
do you lose a 5-foot window? And so finally they found it, but it wasn't getting shipped. Okay, so finally it was supposed to be shipped, and it didn't show up again. So then, which is actually a good thing because yesterday was a pretty hectic day yesterday. So it actually worked out for much better. I was at 4 doctors. I went to the doctor
before 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah. And dentists. And so it worked out really good, but the window got delivered today. So I called all excited. I called the contractors. Hope you guys aren't listening. They were like, "Oh, we have another job scheduled till Monday."
What? That window.
You have another job scheduled. You cannot have another job scheduled. Not their fault.
They'll know we're joking.
Yes. But it's not their fault because, they were waiting on the window. They can't just sit and not work for us. And so they had another job they were scheduled. I was just like,
it's like some kind of a weird.
So maybe in 2 weeks I'll have my remodel done. The refrigerator showed up today at the store. So I scheduled it for 2 weeks.
They know her so well at Home Depot. She called. Tell them what happened when you called.
Yeah, well, I think it was caller ID,
but it's still funny.
I called and I asked for the appliances. Didn't give my name or anything. She said, "Oh, I was just calling you to let you know your refrigerator's in." I was like, "Well, that's weird. How do you know who I am?" So it must be caller ID. But anyway, Tara, if you go to thrift stores that are overpriced, do you go back or stop shopping? Okay, I might go back and try 1 or 2 more times. Mm-hmm. But if it's like there's one store downtown here that is like always really crazy overpriced on stuff. And so I just don't go. Now, if I'm looking for something particular, I might hit it just to see if I happen to find it. Mm-hmm. Or I might hit it like once every 2 or 3 months just for the fun of it.
If we just happen to be downtown for something, we park in front of it or whatever, we might run in there. Mm-hmm.
But usually I don't go back.
Yeah, we haven't been too often.
Like I can pretty much guarantee I might go back to the Restore in Cheyenne just to film it for you guys. But it's not going to be one of my places to hit when I go to Cheyenne from now on. So I can tell you that already. Tammy says, I went to the thrift store 15 minutes away from my sister, 99 cents on all the clothing. Yeah, I don't know why thrift stores don't just do that.
Until I moved here, I never paid more than $1 for my tops or any of my clothes.
Bounty, I will buy the rag bags at thrift stores. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, and you can find some good clothes in those too. Yeah. Amazing Grace. I got my bag of potting soil and it's out teeny white bugs in it. Should I throw it out? No, it won't hurt anything, but it's not going to hurt anything, but you might get bugs in the house. It's just, it depends. I don't know if they're worm bugs or if they're like white flies or what. You can just spray it with some insecticide if you want, or throw the whole bag in the freezer and let it freeze overnight.
If you could freeze it somehow.
If you have space to do that, you could put it in a pan and cook it, but your house will stink to high heaven. But that would be the ways to take care of that. Mm-hmm. Aline, we just popped up on the feed. Oh, yes, I read that one. Sorry. Sandy, okay, let's see. Amazing Grace. Everybody says, okay, so everybody's saying that we should smell gas. We didn't smell gas. But it does make me wonder, it could be a broken water pipe or something. I don't know. I didn't think about having a broken water pipe. Mike, you can send me the next batch. What kind of fridge did I get? A Frigidaire is what I ended up side by side. I made the huge mistake of getting all white appliances. And because I didn't order all my appliances together, I had a super hard time getting white appliances. I wanted a thrift store. Sorry. I wanted a top refrigerator, bottom freezer, but they don't make them anymore. I looked and looked and looked, and I could not find one. And I even ordered one that was on the Home Depot website, and
couldn't get it.
They took my money and everything. And then a week or so later, they call and said, oh, just kidding. We don't actually sell that refrigerator. And it was still on their things. So on their listings. So I don't know. Lisa says we should put out the video on Friday. I don't know. I think that video is going to be so good at the flea market / garage sale. I think it might be. Let's see. Any earthquakes lately? I don't think it's earthquakes.
No.
It's just a little teensy tiny hole in It's just a little teensy tiny hole in the ground. As a matter of fact, if the camera wasn't hooked up, I would walk you guys out there and show you. But it's just what it was in the picture. But
This is awful. I just happened to think, have you ever told them who Sumner is?
Not yet, but they're going to learn that in
On the
Sunday's
video, okay.
yeah, on some video. Denise says, better start praising God. Maybe it's the rocks crying.
That's good. Maybe it is. That is good. Yeah. Oh,
Robin says, my
dear.
favorite thrift store find of all times was a Mauve Rose Lazy Boy in excellent condition for $50. Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Wanted any particular sandpaper to use on metal patio table and chairs? Nope. Any sandpaper is fine. Just get it roughed up before you repaint it.
Yeah.
Eva, that noise of the fountain sounds like baby alligators hatching from their eggs. Well, I don't think that's what it is in Wyoming.
Oh.
Jay Moore, the pipe to my house spout broke. Oh. The thing is, it's at a spot where
it's way out at the edge of the yard.
I'm sure there's no drip irrigation.
No, I don't think you had, because I was having to water.
I'm pretty sure there's no. Well, I mean, to run it. The only thing I could think is if it was running from the house out here, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But I'm wondering if I should be digging some holes here and see what's going on. Oh, I could build a fire pit over it. Then we'd know if it's a gas leak or not.
Yeah, you'd find out real quick.
I'm only kidding. Don't do that. This is not gas leak finding advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only.
People know that they have to have a sense of humor before they can watch us?
I don't think so. From some of the comments.
Yeah, that's true.
Sandy, you know how your house creaks randomly? Maybe your yard as well. I know.
I've never heard a yard creak like this before, though.
It's
weird.
Strange. Here. Darlene has a sensible answer. It's frost heave. Past of least resistance bubbling ice melt. Now that would
makes sense.
But why just in one little hole?
But see, I heard it too, so that would make sense that I would hear something at my house too with things thawing.
Yeah. All right, now about Tana's pantry. What an organizational queen. What a pantry. Wow. I know. I was thinking it was worth driving 16 hours
just to gaze at it and look at it. Oh my goodness.
Can I just sleep in your pantry, Tana? So maybe some of that organizational loveliness will come on to me.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, Sumner, our video guy, who's in our editor, he's going out of town this week, or I would be filming me restocking my pantry, because you should see my pantry. It looks like it exploded because that haul that I got from the canned goods, I still haven't got it put up yet. So I was going to do that as a video, but
I got my Easter candy. I could show them my pantry. We put my Easter candy in it.
Yeah. Sacred Wonder says, what are your thoughts about the increase in violence against Christians? How do we prepare for that? Well, Jesus. I mean, you don't prepare for that. The Bible already tells us the Christians are going to be persecuted. And so you just...
Can I comment on that?
No.
I figured I couldn't.
But I mean, you just have to be ready.
It's funny you asked that question, because I was watching Tyler of Generation 2434, and he was talking about how in the end times, the Bible says that it's going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah in the end, in the last days. And he made interesting comment that it's kind of like that Lot, the mob that came up to Lot's store, trying to get the angels in the story. You have to read the story to understand this a little bit more, but the mob surrounded Lot's home trying to get to Lot, and they tried to get before Lot gave him the angels. They tried to tell Lot, you give us these angels, and we're trying to intimidate him.
Give us these men, imitating him to give us these
men,
men,
and they were trying, they were going to do violence to him if he didn't do what they said and what they wanted him to do. And the point that Tyler was making was, guess what? God blinded them. He protected Lot and took him out of there. So he said, as Christians, God will do the same thing to us. The closer we get to end times, we've got to just trust and realize God has taken care of us in the good times. And we need to even realize he's going to take care of us even more when things are getting bad. So there should be no fear. You shouldn't have to worry. You just keep doing like you've always been doing, and just stand strong.
Yep. Sandy says, when I owned a small resale shop, I dated everything and reduced prices every week till it was there about 4 weeks and then donated it to shelters. Yep.
I think that's a great way to do it. Yeah.
Tina
that's
says, I'm in the process of getting rid of my stuff in my house, having a hard time finding a place to take it. Okay, let's discuss this for a moment. When we take on our decluttering videos and say, just get rid of it, we mean just get rid of it. Now, if you can find a place that will take to donate it or give it away someplace, please feel free to do that. But if you can't, trash it and be done with it and move on. You can put it on Facebook Marketplace for free. You can tell friends and family for free. You can try all the donations places you want. You can call churches if you want. But in the end, if you can't find a place to donate it, you need to just get rid of it and move on with your life.
And last summer, I walked to my post, have to walk to my mailbox, and there were people that had put boxes of stuff sitting on the curb right there at the end of the driveway and put free on there. And I walked by and I picked some things out. And so, your neighbors are going to be getting that stuff,
And if that doesn't work, my brother did that one time. Nobody would take it. So then he put $10 on it and it was gone.
On the whole box of stuff. Yeah.
Somebody stole it.
Oh, they stole it.
So put a price on it.
And then they might.
And then maybe somebody will just steal it because they think they're getting a deal. Wanda, people forget to compute yesterday's prices and wages today. I know. I want to do a video on that. It irritates me to no end.
Why people can't figure that out and think that through.
Marty says people have no common sense. Exactly.
And see, people have been hollering, well, the minimum wage needs to go up. We need to have it up higher. And when they were doing that so much, I kept saying, have they not figured out that if the minimum wage goes up, the companies are going to have to charge more for the products to cover that? It just is a cycle and so I was kind of leery when they kept hollering about the minimum wage going up because they didn't realize for everybody then, not only you with your wage going up, you're going to have to pay higher prices. So it just keeps, accelerating like that.
Brenda, when I was 15 working part-time in 1964, made 60 cents an hour. Yep. Mm-hmm. And you also probably bought a hamburger for 15 cents. I know. Kimberly. That would be an awesome channel. Well, my goodness, I guess we need to start a reaction channel. Might be better. Robin, one claim I can hear is the cost of living since the 60s has risen a lot faster than the wages. It's not true.
Yeah, it's not that much.
That's just not true.
I guess I can say this because I've lived back. I was born in the 50s. And so I can say this all the way up through now you're going to laugh at this, but the way I know inflation and things are happening or things are moving the right pace is I measure everything by how much a Hershey's candy bar has cost over the years. I can. It was 5 cents. I could buy a candy bar for 5 cents when I was little, and then pretty soon they went up to 10 cents. And oh my goodness, well, you think the world was caving in.
Another $2.
I know. Well, when they started getting up there, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. I'll have to stop eating them one of these days.
Yeah, whatever. Denise says a name for the show. Tara says it all. Tara explains it all. Or Tara's common sense for dummies. I know.
Yeah, that would be good. Common Sense for Dummies would be a good show. I wonder if that'd get.
Living on a Dime to Grow Rich, also known as Michael in the Recliner, says, my friend at the university used to call the dumpster the blue store. It was a big running joke. Mike worked for the university for a while, and he was always joking with this guy about going to the blue store to go shopping. Heather, she hits up books at thrift stores and references and politically. Yep. Denise, my daughter's furnished her apartment with free stuff. They just got thrown out at the end of the year. Yep. Mm-hmm. Keller says garbage day. Oh yeah, garbage day in college towns. I can just imagine.
Or in Wichita, twice a year, they would have everybody put their stuff out on the curb and they'd come by and dump it for you. Yep. If you got up early and would start hitting the neighborhoods, you could get a lot of cool stuff that way.
Dump day is the best.
Dump day is really good.
As a matter of fact, I was trying to decide, when is dump day? It should be coming up. Thinking about parking the truck next to the entrance of dump day and just peeking into people's back of the truck to see if there's anything worth it. Christine says turkeys in Canada wear snowshoes.
That's probably true.
Heather says the son of our turkey is a couple is bigger than both parents. Wow. Oh my. Marilyn Monroe says there's a vacant lot near our university. Students leave great stuff there after spring semester finishes. Locals know to go look at it. There's something might be there. Yeah, I wish I would do that.
I know. I wish
most
every
places.
place would do that. Just have a special place once or twice a year where you go dump things.
Yeah. Mike, you can send me the next one. The argument for high minimum wage is that people cannot earn a living wage if only getting minimum wage. Maybe not every job is supposed to pay a living wage. Teens, etc., need to earn the higher wage. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. That whole living wage thing is a bunch of baloney. Those kinds of jobs are for teenagers starting out. That's why they're minimum wage. It's just ridiculous. But Sandy wants to know, do you remember penny candy?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I remember penny candy.
There you go. Let's see. Jane says the only thing we couldn't donate was mattresses. Yeah. They wouldn't donate mattresses either. Bounty in the Badlands says, with everything going on, I swear it's worse now than Sodom. No, it's not worse now than Sodom. Sodom was bad.
It's getting there.
It's getting
on
close.
the fringe, that's for sure.
It's getting close. Una wants to know, why do the students dump things? Because they don't want to have to move it. So they spend all their parents' money moving into a dorm for 9 months, and then they literally throw it all away or give it all away because they don't want to move it. All right. Oh, Tana is on. Yeah, she's clear over on the other side of Wyoming over there. She says, come on over. A twin size mattress should fit in the pantry. Yeah, that would be
you'd never get rid of her after that.
Maybe I can get her pantry organization.
Mike and the boys wouldn't be there. She'd just be surrounded in the pantry.
She'd just so lovely. I would probably sleep so good.
You would probably sleep really good. No offense, Mike and boys.
Tana's been sending me all of the Wyoming memes this year. Oh my goodness, guys. This year was something else. But thankfully, we haven't had any flooding yet. We were supposed to have flooding. We had warnings for flooding, and so far we haven't had it. It's up, but it's not flooding. Yeah. So, Kim says, have you had Ice Cube's sequel in water and sometimes snap? No. I have never had an Ice Cube snap in water. Oh, like when you're pouring. Oh, yeah, I've done that.
That might be what's.
Yeah, but why just that one spot?
I don't know.
Just the one spot. I'm almost starting to wonder if it's a water line or something. I don't know. Bounty in the back. Wouldn't that be crazy if I posted that on the internet to come out? We had a water leak. Mike, maybe better check our meter and see if our water bill's been up or something.
He's supposed to keep using his leg, isn't he? That'd be good for him to hike around in.
Oh yeah, he could dig that. Bounty in the Badlands. Ranchers around here used to donate feed for the deer during hard winters, but at $250 to $300 per ton of hay now, nope. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be hard to do.
And the problem is you can't really eat them because they're so anorexic because they haven't eaten.
The deer, you mean?
They're not really worth eating either.
Yeah, they were looking bad.
Surely I found PG Tips tea to be really good. I tried that one. It still wasn't good as Fallon's. But now I know that it's Tetley. If it's Tetley, I'm just going to die.
Well, I like Tetley, but not the way you're talking about the other stuff.
It was really good. I gave you, and you didn't like the other stuff either when I gave it to you.
So
she was prejudiced against my tea.
Isn't that funny how different people like the different flavors of tea? Some just rant and rave and some.
Una says, my husband is one of the suppliers and always says that most of the tea in the UK and Ireland is the same, just packaged slightly different. Oh my goodness. Seriously?
Wanda
says, so we'll finally see Mike's brilliant idea. Yes. So actually you would see it sooner if Sumner wasn't leaving town for a week and taking the camera that I need to film with that. But
so it's all Sumner's fault?
It's all Sumner's fault. You guys can blame Sumner. But, I thought of this week Tara's brilliant idea to go with Mike's brilliant idea. And I looked all over Pinterest and I have not seen anybody do this.
Oh, what you told me about?
I came up with an idea that I have never seen and heard. And it has to do with crates, old wooden crates. and Mom mentioned something about wooden crates in a different way. And I was like, wait a minute. You said to use it that way. But what if I change it and use it this way? I have never seen anyone do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and looked and I looked and I looked and I could find no one. I think I came up with a brilliant idea that nobody
really
else has done.
It'll be cute. Yeah.
If it works, you guys can say you heard it first here. Because it's pretty brilliant. So I'm going to start working on that this week, probably.
We don't have a problem with pride in our family, do we?
Hey, it's brilliant. I know brilliance when I see it. And I didn't see it anywhere. So I know it's going to be brilliant. Let's see. Lisa, God is reminding you to have patience about the window. Oh, have mercy.
Oh.
No kidding. I don't know. There's a fine line between patience and people need to get their act together. Seriously. Like, you know, I was talking to the delivery driver and he's like, yeah, he said, you know, we had one problem where the guy said he was going to go ahead and come on through and made it. And he said, the guy called and said, oh, well, I decided to make another stop, so I'm not going to make it now. So he had to turn around and go 4 hours out of his way and delay it who knows how many days because he just decided to make another. It sounded like it was a personal type stop.
Well,
I don't know.
People don't have much integrity, I don't think, anymore. You used to take pride in your business and your work and things like that, and people don't care, I don't think, as much now.
Kathy says, I wish you sold books in Canada. I want your gluten-free so bad, but I want a real deck. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but it is the Canadian laws that prevent us from doing that.
We've had trouble for years.
I just can't keep losing money on shipping them out of the United States. It's just the VAT taxes in Europe and the customs. Well,
they weren't even letting them through for a while.
Yeah, in Canada, and I just had to stop. So I'm really sorry. All right. Let's see. Bandana Grandma says, have we been to Goodwill Brands at the store warehouses? They pay by the ounce pound. No, we haven't been to one yet. So I remember you were talking about that at one point. Amy says our Goodwill is 99-cent Sunday, one color. Yeah, that's what our old thrift store used to do. Kathy says, do you wipe a bit of olive oil on the inside of tin foil containers that you are going to freeze, or will that make meatloaf or something spoil that way?
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
No. It'll be fine.
Sandy, is this your first winter in Sheridan? No, it's our second, but last year's was one of the most mildest winters they've ever had. And this was one of the worst winters they had. But this is not the worst winter that I've ever experienced.
No.
In the 1980s, it was like 3 or 4 in Kansas and southeastern Colorado. It was way worse than this ever thought about being.
I didn't really mind this year at all, you know. So.
It's not really. It's just that it's been so long this year.
Yeah, it's that. I think that's been the main thing.
As a matter of fact,
it started out, November, I think. Yeah. And I don't think I've seen my grass. Today was the first day I was actually seeing my grass.
Grass finally coming up.
5 or 6 months I haven't seen my grass. So.
And I need to start some plants, but it's kind of hard to start plants when there's 10 feet of snow outside. But
on the oil question about doing the foil on the oil, if you've got oil in the meat and you put oil on the foil, they'll stay the same amount of time.
Yeah.
They'll keep fresh the same amount of time.
Terry, she has an old Lazy Boy recliner. Is there any way to recover it somehow? I mean, you can tear it apart and recover it, but I would just look on Amazon. They have slip covers for like $20.
It's almost easier. And fabric is getting so expensive now that you'd almost pay to just get a slip cover.
Yeah. Jane says our city does bulk pickup twice a year. That's nice. Yeah. Sandy says I worked at a restaurant when minimum wage went up. The first year, within 2 to 3 months, the menu prices went up like clockwork. I know, that's what's so stupid.
I know why people don't realize that.
But those same people who want $15 an hour, listen, Walmart's in business to make money. This is their business. They are going to raise their prices. So those same people who are insisting on $15 an hour are going to pay higher prices at Walmart because they're insisting on $15 an hour.
It's the same thing with bankruptcy, with paying off the school loans for all the kids and things like that. Everybody that's supporting that doesn't realize that somebody's got to pay that someplace. You know, it's the same type of thing. So
yeah. Debbie says during the Big C, they needed workers where my sister works at McDonald's. So they were paying $16 an hour. They were paying $20 in some places.
They
Ridiculous.
were. We couldn't
Now
believe
everybody's complaining about how expensive fast food is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
What do
And they
you
wonder why.
expect?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The thing is with minimum wage, it is not a living wage. You need to figure out how to get a real job.
Well, we used to have to work 2 jobs
That's
if
just
we
the
were
way it
working a
is.
minimum wage job. You know, you just knew that that's the way it worked. You have to do a full-time, maybe a part-time until you got experience, and then you could move up.
And I'm not insulting. If you work at Walmart, I'm not insulting
No.
you. But if it is not enough to pay your bills, you need to find something else that will pay your bills.
Mm-hmm.
Those types of jobs are for teenagers and people starting out in the workforce. They aren't considered real full-time jobs. Now, they can be, and that's fine if it pays your bills and you're okay with that. That's totally fine. But don't complain that you're not earning enough. You need to just go look for a different job or get different training or whatever you need to do to get a better paying job. That's Tara's lecture for the day. Una says, my husband says that the reason you probably like Fallon's is because it is flat tea bag design. Oh, I think he's kidding, right? The tea bag design wouldn't matter how the tea tastes, right?
I wouldn't think.
Is this a stupid American question?
Do we Americans don't know there's a difference?
Surely the tea bag shape doesn't change the flavor of the tea.
I wouldn't think. Although a lot of people put leaves in the little things and they say it makes a difference. You know, use the loose tea and they say it makes a difference. I can't tell. Maybe Americans just don't have the
English tea.
Well, we can't tell the difference because our palates aren't as good as the English.
I am a tea connoisseur.
But she really does. Yeah, you do pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, like we do coffee more, we know a little bit more maybe about coffee than what they do in England. I mean, a lot of people do ground beans here in America, and they can tell a big difference from me just drinking my Folgers. And so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I have no idea.
Robin, do you believe minimum wage should, well, I guess we need to do a minimum wage show.
Well, it sounds like it.
Do you believe minimum wage should be enough to support a 20-year-old single person starting to be independent and cover basic living expenses? No. I think that should be like teenagers, not adults. I mean, by 20, you're kind of at that breaking point, but you need to be starting to look forward to getting a different job that's just not a starting.
What we think is when the kids turn 16, they should be starting to work part-time, at least a few hours a week, so that by the time they're up to 18, they've got a couple of years experience now in the workforce, so that at 18, they can start doing full-time at something. So by the time they're 20, they've got 3 to 4 years at least of experience. So that should help them move up to a better paying job.
Yeah.
If it's not during that 4 period time, they should be getting training so that while they're working the part-time job or the minimum wage job, then by the time they're 20, they should have the training and the experience from the part-time job so they can advance and move up.
And I'm not saying 20-year-olds aren't going to be working those jobs. They are. I have a 20-year-old working that type of a job, or not 20, but almost, and working that type of job. But that's not the goal, to stay there as your living wage for the rest of the time. Your goal is to be working to get better paying.
Yeah, sometimes it'll be up to 21. Once they get to be about 21, 22, they should have a decent paying job. 20
to 22 is when they really need to be getting a career started and going.
And if they're a 20-year-old and just working 40 hours a week, they could get another part-time job. What I see happens a lot is these kids are working like 36 hours a week, and they just think they're dying from working too hard. I put in 60, 70-hour work weeks and had 2 kids at home by myself. And I did it. The kids don't understand that they may have to really work hard for a couple of years too to survive.
Kimmy says, do we honestly think that that's the last lecture of the day?
Of course not.
I think Kimmy missed the whole men wearing sports bras.
Oh, she missed that part.
You need to go back to that one.
Maybe
Kimmy.
she's glad
I
she
found my
missed
new
that.
YouTube channel, Kimmy. Tara does reaction videos.
Oh.
Actually, you guys talk about me, but what you don't know, and he's not here to defend himself, so I can say this. Mike is a lot worse than I am on a lot of those things.
Oh, is he dinging you?
No,
He's
not
dinging you.
But some of this, actually, Mike has he's really good at coming up with counterpoints for a lot of this nonsense that's going on. Now, he doesn't want to get into political things, which is fine, but he's really good about seeing the sheer stupidity behind this stuff and coming back. And it's like, I saw a guy today and he said, okay, all this trans stuff. Well, okay, so think about it. If you have all this, then it basically negates the L, the G, the B, and the Q, because if genders are fluid, there is no gender. So all these other things mean nothing. So it's kind of stupid because they're kind of really imploding on themselves for these dumb things when you start getting into all that. So it's like, okay, you know what? Just live your life. Do what you want to do, but don't shove it down my throat. Anyway, I'm done with that.
I thought you were done with the last one.
I was, but I'm not because Kimmy's right. Angie says, I called a fella in my hometown and most of my junk need to go to the dump. My neighbor with a truck offered to help me take it to the dump, gave him a free gift card for a meal out. He and his wife worked out great. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda, a lot of adults are making minimum wage or near minimum wage. I know, but they shouldn't be. They need to be adults. They need to be having higher things in life. And if they don't want to, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a problem, but if you're complaining about it, it's a problem and you need to just be looking for a better job.
See, what happens is a lot of people complain continually really bad about their job and how they can't make it and they kind of whine and everything about it. Well, they don't even bother to see if there's anything else they could get for a little bit higher. You know, I've known people that just stay in the same job year after year after year hollering about it. And all they have to do is put their application out. And it's amazing how many people find an even better job, you know, that finally do that. What? Yes. Oh, dear.
Tanya? I don't know how you say your name. She says, build a fire pit over the hole. You might have to worry about the kitchen remodel. Oh, my goodness. The contractors would absolutely die. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We almost burned down Mike's brilliant idea the other day. I'm not kidding. It was smoking. It was actually smoking.
Oh, yeah. I thought you did tell him.
Well, it hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
They don't say anything. But it was actually smoking.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Bandana Ground said, my daughter's working retail. When the minimum wage went up, the new hires were making the same as the older the longer term employees who had gradually worked their way up. The company couldn't bump up all wages. I know. I would be furious.
I think that's so wrong.
I would be furious.
Yeah, that they would do that. Yeah.
I would be furious.
My grandson had that same situation. That is so unfair on all levels. Yeah.
Michelle says, is it warm near the hole in your ground? Not really. I mean, there's a whole lot of other gravel right next to it. It is next to the driveway, so I guess it is kind of warm, but there's a whole lot of other spots that are, I don't know. Jane says, Dave Ramsey says young adults should work during college to pay for the cost, not parents. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We preach that all the time.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I worked with younger people that griped about their bills, but they were the first ones to call up. Yeah. I know. Wait, is that a hint to Mike's brilliant idea that we almost burned it down? No. I mean, it could be, but it's not. You wouldn't get anything from it. Robin says, agree. I work 56 hours a week for a single employer. One time was told I get some overtime hours. They put all my hours to 0 overtime. Oh, yeah, that's not good. I would change jobs. That's awful. Jay Moore says I did summer office jobs before I turned 18. Better than minimum wage. Yeah.
There's so many jobs out there now. People are begging for people to work for them. If you're in a really bad job where they're not treating you right or things aren't quite, up to par, you can easily change over. It's just that you get locked in, and some people are the mindset they're afraid to move and try to get another job. You usually don't even have to quit the job that you're at, and you can put out applications, on your day off, schedule your interviews on your days off. And so you really don't have to worry about, well, if I quit this, what am I going to do if I can't get another job? You don't have to worry about that most of the time. You can work it out. So
yeah. Bandana Grandma says I have the perfect Dana Carvey church lady face. Would be great for reaction videos. I have no idea what that is, but okay, I'll have to look up Dana Carvey church lady now. Oh dear, that could be bad. Una says, I don't want to take over. Okay, so she's going to address, I think she's really British, I think. But yeah, tea bag shape design is a huge industry. It's all about the water circulating in the tea bags, etc. I'm not fancy, so like flat tea bags, but my mother-in-law is fancy. Okay, so maybe we need to do a Tara test tea bags.
See, I thought the English would know. There is a lot of people will only use the loose tea. And if you look, how many times do you see tea bags in an English murder mystery?
Yeah. Well, and I did like the loose tea better in England. Mm-hmm. It was really good.
Yeah, so there must be some kind of difference in that.
But I didn't know. I don't know.
Oh, I've been watching so many British murder mysteries that I went in the kitchen and I thought, I need to tidy up in here tomorrow. We don't say tidy up that much in America. We say we need to clean up this kitchen. But to say, I thought that was so cool. I love it when they say, I need to tidy up. I just love it. And I walked in the kitchen and I thought, I'm speaking English now. Oh, didn't even know it.
Goodness. Oh, my cousin Tammy is on here. She says, hi, Aunt Jill.
Oh, hi, Tammy.
Hello, Tam. Where are you roaming about now? You should message me and tell me where you're roaming about now.
I forgot she does have the roaming job, doesn't she?
She is a roaming CNA. All right, guys, this video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbook. 25% off right now, volume 1 and volume 2. Start with volume 1 and then our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. If you're gluten-free, dairy-free, we give you all the basics of cooking to help you get started cooking and not eating out so much. Oh my goodness. I was trying not to get on another rampage there.
Walk away from the eating out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Eating out has just gotten ridiculous. All right, guys, visit us at livingonadime.com. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye. Thank you again, Christine. Bye-bye.